injury, sports injury, workplace injury and disaster medicine. They recognised that management was important and that trauma systems needed to be developed and treatment needed to be improved, and that education and research were essential parts of this program. After 20 years, the Commonwealth Government finally caught on, and in 1990 set up the National Road Trauma Advisory Council. This was convened by the Commonwealth Government, and they set up a working party in 1992, which produced a report in 1993, which had key input from the 1992 college policy document. The big change was that they recommended regional trauma centres, networks and linkages be established. There'd be a trauma system management committee in all states. That surgeons should be involved early in management. Education and training, quality assurance, research and evaluation were all essential parts of the program. Now, what about the outcomes of all this? I mean, was this a worthwhile program? Well, between 1960 and 1994, Australian road fatalities fell by 49%. In 1970, the incidence was 30 per 100,000. In 1994, 10.9 per 100,000. This is despite an increase in population from 11 to 17.8 million, so there was a lot more congestion on the roads. There was a marked reduction in the number of seriously injured and a marked reduction in the severity of injuries. The factors I've already referred to, many of these: seat belts, helmets, alcohol tests, speed limits and cameras, vehicle design, safety equipment and improved roads were all instrumental in reducing the toll. The improved treatment by paramedics, doctors and trauma teams was important, and education, politicians, public service, police and community. And I've already provided to the BJD some of the graphic videos that the TAC produced for the community showing the effects of road trauma. So there is now a trauma committee which has policies for all trauma. There are 7 subcommittees. It's multidisciplinary, it has an education program, has links with professional bodies and is verified through Liverpool and Sydney, which is the verification program. In Victoria, it was felt that we needed to do more, and a ministerial task force was set up in 1999 and recommended an integrated statewide trauma system with an expanded trauma service with 4 tiers, 3 major trauma centres for all major trauma within 30 minutes of the site. Triage teams are established, trauma teams including an emergency medicine consultant and a consultant general surgeon available within 30 minutes, a director of trauma in all the major centres, increased number of paramedics and a trauma registry was established. This resulted in a further 28% reduction in potentially preventable deaths between 1998 and 2004. And we believe that a statewide integrated trauma system is essential if it's going to achieve adequate and good results. Some recent achievements are listed here: alcohol ignition interlock, central high brake lights, 120 hours of pre-licensed driving, seat belts for long distance buses, dual front and side airbags, verification program at Westmead, a National Trauma Research Institute has been established. We established a Trauma Society in 1997 and now have a definitive surgical trauma course rather than just a theoretical one. But there are future challenges, and the career structure must be established for trauma surgeons. We need more better trained surgeons. We need to develop a verification program, and we need to develop strategies to deal with disasters and terrorism. We need greater compliance with the established problems that we've talked about already, and some of the newer ones like the use of mobile phones when driving motor vehicles. And just to point this out that there still are problems, this is a recent study from Sugrue in Sydney, who showed that in fact the mortality for severe injury was only reduced from 16 to 13%, and that the avoidable mortality was unchanged. The interesting thing is that when trauma surgeons are involved, the incidence was 6.7%, whereas with untrained personnel, 25%. The errors, non-avoidable errors were 3.9%, the avoidable errors 5.7%, and the location was resuscitation in 40% of the cases. Delays in judgment were the major causes of problems, with 30% of hemorrhage control inappropriately managed. Where there's no formal trauma service and trauma surgeons are not on site, the results are not as good. And that's what we need. We need more trained personnel in this area. Stephen Hall, a rheumatologist who's probably known to many of you from Melbourne, described this action by the college as the best piece of public health intervention in this country. Surgeons were able to rally support from stakeholders, persuade politicians, lead by example research and education, and brought road trauma to the public arena and introduced the team approach. Thank you very much.
Thank you.